It's the ability to strip away the bullshit that you've been told and how you've been told to act and the mask that you've put on to really fill that shell and allow yourself to be loose, allow yourself to be you.
So true. Definitely not broken. If anything, the system's broken. It's not you, it's the system.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. Tim, what's going on, brother?
I'm doing great. Do you know what? I've been listening to our episodes back, and I wasn't aware that there was some cheers, actually. There's some noises of the crowd going wild after he says, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. I was like, that's awesome. I love it.
Shout out to Billy from Branded Innovation for taking care of that. Good job, Billy. Billy's getting married soon, by the way, so I'm excited for him.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I love that the guys in Branded Innovation listen to the podcasts and really get on board with all the messaging. I think that's so cool. It
is really cool. It's been great for me to be able to see those guys really push forward. So, Tim, one of the topics that I want to bring to the table today is this idea of being broken, right? That doing personal development or business development, for that matter, means that you're broken as a man. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I'd love to. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with one of the men in the Brotherhood this week, an amazing, amazing man who's just, God, the results that he's seeing just inspire me and blow me away, and just it's another level. His life is just totally different, and I say that not to edify what we do. I say that because in case you're listening, my good friend, you are a phenomenal guy, and obviously, Doug, you know who I'm speaking about. So he raised a really great point. He said, one of the things that held me back from joining the Powerful Man and the Activation Method sooner was I didn't want to feel like I was going to be surrounded by a load of men that were broken. I just didn't identify with myself being broken in that way. I want to be surrounded by men that are going to lift me up and inspire me, and champions and winners, because I'm a winner. I'm just, I just get to improve my game a little bit. And when I brought this to you, obviously, it really got you and I thinking and talking about, wow, how many other men might see themselves in that same way? Thinking that either they don't want to join something where men are broken, or that they're too broken, and the reality is, guys, you're not broken at all. Doug and I and the coaches, we believe that all of you guys listening, all of the men we work with, you guys are already powerful men. You're already a powerful man. You've just forgotten how to be it in a society where men have been left behind.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about the quest of personal development and business development, right? A lot of guys are okay with doing business development because society says it's all right. But when you think about personal development, like, do I really have problems? My life's not so bad, what have you. It has nothing to do with that, guys. The men that go through a program like this and men that listen to a podcast like this aren't broken. If you're broken, you wouldn't be listening to this, right? You're not at all, first of all. And the men that go through the program are elite business owners. They are not broken. They are fine-tuning themselves, fine-tuning their craft, getting better optics, getting better tools so they can continue to improve, just like an athlete, right? Just like an athlete hires a strength coach and works on fundamentals, plyometrics, speed, agility, quickness. You would never think anything about that person like, they're obviously out of shape. They're in the, professional athlete and they have to get a coach. No, you think, they're getting better. They're fine tuning themselves. The same thing is like doing men's work or going through personal development. It's the exact same thing. The men that actually enter a program like the Activation Method, the Brotherhood, or something else that's out there, even business coaching, you're doing it to become better. You're the peak, right? It's a group of men that are there to lift each other up, that are playing at a very high level. And there's nothing to do with being broken at all. Being broken is a stigma that society has placed on on, things like personal development or people trying to better themselves out of a necessity, a way to sell you more stuff, right? Sell you the right car or sell you the watch or the clothes and all of those things. It's not that at all. It really isn't. It's a group of men in this case, but it could be women too for another group, but it's a group of people pulling each other up and playing at a high level like an elite athlete would.
I mean, I can understand why some men might think that they're broke. I mean, when times when I've felt stuck and really alone, that's what I mean. I can really understand why, because it's often the emotional burden that goes with it, right? When they make promises and let people they love down and end up working late. And the thing is, all the men that we speak with, they're all really great men, and they have just tried their best to build a business and set their life up in a way for themselves and their family. But along that path, they've just either one, lost themselves a little bit and been consumed by the business and working harder, because that's where often they've then got their significance and their love and their approval, because typically they didn't receive a lot of it growing up, or they just weren't able to receive it for whatever reason. It just didn't land for them. So naturally, when you start to receive it from somewhere, what are you going to do? You're going to go there more often. And, the byproduct of that is that, sometimes the families get a little bit, left behind. And at that time, the guys don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to communicate. And the reality is they've just never been taught. They've just never been taught how to navigate the guilt that they'll feel or the anger. Instead, they've been taught and told by society that, and shamed, quite honestly, for feeling anger. You don't scare people. Don't intimidate people. Don't be angry. Don't cry. Why are you crying? Why are you sad? Ooh, don't be too happy. You don't want to be arrogant. I mean, where the hell does that leave you? You can't be arrogant. You can't be confident. You then can't cry and be sad because there's something wrong with you, and that's not good. You then can't be angry because you don't want to upset people. Do you see? It's like, it's this complete contradiction in society. And as a result, the men arrive at a point whereby it's time, like you said, Doug, it's time to learn a new skill set so they can take their game to the next level. They've learned the skill sets in business. They know how to grow a business. That's all good. They've got things down there. And now it's time for them to learn some new skills for themselves so they can communicate with the people they love, so they can navigate through the emotions that they're experiencing and express every part of themselves in the world, to the people they love. And as a result, this is why the guys, their sex lives go through the roof after the alpha reset, because there's on day 2, there's a big acceptance piece there. And the men go through a particular exercise which really just strips them down and has them see themselves fully for the first time ever. And the other men see them too. And it's just such an amazing moment of pure acceptance without any labels, any material possessions, any status, any money, just purely for who they are. Then as a result, they go home, they're able to communicate their emotions, they're able to navigate them, they're present emotionally and physically, and things take on a completely new meaning.
Guys, I'm interrupting this episode because I want to know, do you feel bored, burnt out, or broken? Discover the system that over 300 businessmen are using to let go of the grind, find inner peace, and unlock unlimited personal power so they can have more time, more intimacy, and better sex while living a life they love without stressing about work or feeling like a fraud. Head over to thepowerfulman.com/11 to see what this is all about. All right, let's get back to the episode. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's really the ability to strip away the bullshit, right? Strip away the bullshit that you've been told and how you've been told to act and the mask that you've put on to really fill that shell and allow yourself to be loose, allow yourself to be you. That's really what it's all about, Tim.
Mm, so true. But yeah, you're definitely not broken. If anything, the system's broken. It's not you, it's the system. The system that's trained you. We all know about the education system, and everyone, a lot of people have various different views in it. But the reality is, it doesn't train us as men to go into the world and really navigate our journey or be the men that we want to be, is the easiest way to say it. It just
Mm.
trains you to then go into the system and then work harder for the system so the system can make more money from you. It doesn't teach you the skills that you really need if you want to really live a fulfilling, free life. And in my opinion, the first freedom, the five freedoms, the first freedom is peace. There's peace in knowing who you are, peace in knowing what you want, and the ability to just be that in the world. And it's fascinating, right? Because raising children, Doug, Bodhi, I imagine the advice you'd give Bodhi. Well, what advice do you give Bodhi? What do you want to instill in Bodhi as he grows into this young man that is flourishing into?
Oh, well, we've talked a little bit about this before, and obviously Bodhi's pretty young, but first of all, I want him to be able to question everything. Everything he's told, even, by myself and his mother and his family, and ask why. Well, why should I be this? Why should I do that? I want him really to instill a sense of self-love, right? Acceptance of who he is, every part of him, every shade of him, his angry side, his happy side, his joyful side, his talkative side, his shy side, whatever it may be. That's one thing. We're also very conscious about not putting labels on him for that reason, right? Put labels on somebody, they tend to, step into that label, whatever it may be. So obviously integrity, Tim, is a big one that I want to teach and instill within inside of him, of honoring your word. Your word is your bond. But not only integrity with other people, but integrity with inside himself, honoring what he says he's going to do. Gosh, I could do a whole couple hours on the things I want to do. So I'll leave it there. The last I'll say is I want to make sure he lives his life, respectfully, but lives his life respectfully as if this is his only chance. This moment is his only chance to really live and go after life the way that he wants to do it. Not the way I want to do it, not the way his mom wants him to do it, not the way his future wife's going to want him to do it, or husband, whatever, but the way that he wants to do it. And that's something I think would be, a legacy that I would feel so proud to walk away with, is having my son live life on his own terms.
I love it. One, amazing. Two, so often we hear the men, the lessons they want to teach their kids. They don't call the kids broken, do they? When the kids are growing up and they don't feel like yeah, exactly. You just don't, do you? So it's almost spinning it around. And, if you're in the same position as a man today that's, just discovering how to love yourself in the most simplest way, then, the advice you'd give your kids, or how you'd see your kids and how you'd want to raise them, it's the same thing. It's so easy, though, as men to buy into what we hear all around us and believe the story, but it's absolutely not true.
No, it really isn't. And, the idea when we talked before we got on this podcast about men being broken, and, said one of the guys said, geez, when I was going to join the Powerful Man, one of the things that slowed me down from joining is I didn't want to be around a bunch of broken guys, because that's not my issue. And then he comes to find out that it's all a bunch of top level businessmen, and not one of them has anything wrong with them at all. It's actually guys that are playing at a high level. So he's been with us ever since. He was pleasantly surprised. I never even considered the notion of somebody thinking of the men that we work with, especially, being broken in any way, shape, or form, because these are high level men, high level performers. And these are guys looking to get the edge and rediscover themselves, right? There's something that was, that they felt that some way, shape, or form was missing, right? Or could got better. And that's the reason they join a program like the one that we put on. And the reason, frankly, for myself, I've always been on the journey of business development and personal development since a very young age, since I was in high school. And I was on this journey just like I did athletics. I wanted to be the best me possible. And if there was a way that I could do it, I would. And that started off by reading books in high school, like the 90-Minute Hour and, Think and Grow Rich and things of that nature. And that's just spawned onto a lifetime quest of personal and business development, mastery, really. And I think that's what a man listening to a podcast like this, Tim, I think that's what they're on. They're getting better, 1% better every single day. That's what their quest is.
I'd agree. And like I said, I can understand why this particular guy, might think that programs like this, he'd be surrounded by broken guys, so to speak, because of the message in society around men being broken and suicide and all these different things. But yeah, guys, if you're listening to this and you've been struggling, you're in a dark place. When I say dark, you just feel stuck. You've been there for quite some time. You feel alone. You're telling everyone that you're great and you've got it all together, but in reality, behind closed doors, you just feel empty, like there's a void. We've said it before, don't suffer in silence. Reach out, whether it's to us, whether it's to somebody. There's no shame in it. You're not supposed to be further ahead. This is your journey. You are where you are. You're listening to this at this time for a particular reason. There's no such thing as coincidence. And I hope it is us. I hope it is us that you reach out to. I would personally love to speak to you if you're in that position. I love the work that we do. I'm obviously very passionate about it, as you can probably tell. I'm just rambled most of this podcast, just saying the same thing over and over. You're not broken. You're not broken. You're not broken. But you're not broken.
Definitely not. Definitely not. If you're broken, you wouldn't be listening to this, first of all. Yeah. It really pains me to even think about the possibility that some of these guys, some of you guys listening to this might feel broken in some way, shape, or form, right? And we all go through hard times. We all go through our rough spots where our business isn't doing as well, or our marriage isn't doing as well, or we don't feel good enough as a father or a lover or whatever it may be. That is not the encapsulation of who you are as a man, though. Not at all. So, gentlemen, like Tim said, Tim would love to talk to you. We would love to talk to you. This is all about having conversations that matter and taking it to the next level. If you're firing at a 10 out of 10 on all areas of your life, keep going, brother. Keep going. I love it. We'd love to talk to you about that and see what you're doing. And if there's anything we can learn from you to pass on to the men we work with, wow, that'd be great. But if you're not, for some reason, you're not a 10 out of 10, it doesn't mean you're broken, but there might be some tweaks we can make and help you out with, and we'd be happy to do so. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up, Tim. That's another episode of the Powerful Man Show in the bag. Gentlemen, we'll see you next time.